Okay, both cameras are rolling. Okay, speed. Camera 3?
Yeah, what episode is this? 6.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. That was the best one ever.
Okay.
Oh, I only had one clap.
Sound.
Camera 1 recording.
It sounds wonderful. But did you ever disappear into your imagination as a booker in a board?
Hi everybody and welcome to episode 6 of Nights at the Round Table. In this episode we are discussing the Canadian film The Last Night. I believe it was filmed in 1998 or released in 1998. It's the story of several people in Toronto and what they do in their final hours until the sun explodes, more or less. I want to start with first impressions of the film, so I'll start with you, Éric.
I thought it was interesting. It kept my attention the whole movie, but it didn't bring anything special to the genre or to a movie. But it was entertaining.
I really liked it, actually. I thought that, no, it didn't bring any particular new or interesting ideas, but I thought it was very witty and a lot of fun. I liked elements of it, how I learned that, oh, just because the apocalypse is coming doesn't mean that my mother isn't going to guilt trip me for whatever I choose to do in my final hours, so that I have to look forward to. Yeah, I thought it was, it's always fun watching Canadian movies because you're like, oh, it's that guy, oh, it's that guy, oh, wow, it's everybody who was ever a Canadian actor all together in one movie. So that's always kind of fun to see.
I liked it as well. I'm much more of an action buff, but this, again, it held my attention all the way through. There were some really funny moments.
There were some great lines.
There were some great lines. And
Don McKellar is so good at just, deadpan, like the hard done by, beaten down, hilarious guy.
But I did find Sandra Oh is very much Sandra Oh in this movie.
She was even called Sandra.
Yeah, well, there's certain ways that she speaks that or she puts herself out there that are so very typically her. She doesn't quite disappear into the roles. Like the staccato way she speaks, for example, is in pretty much everything I've ever seen. Yeah. So that took me out of it a little bit, but it was a really enjoyable movie. It was kind of like I almost want to say like a Love Actually, but end of the world kind of movie, where it followed groups of people or individual people and sort of what they do and how they were dealing.
Yeah, I like the ensemble cast thing because it gives you, it has so many different storylines going on that it kind of gives you a chance to get to know all the different characters more instead of focusing on just a few. I mean, it really did focus more on Sandra and Patrick than on everybody else, but I like that. It's like watching Downton Abbey, but modern days and end of the world.
I think for the genre, having that many different mini storylines was bad for the movie. Because in that genre you have to go slowly, which they did, but it meant that I didn't really associate with any of the characters except for Patrick and maybe his friend. What was the guy who was
sleeping with him?
Yeah, the bucket list
Craig.
guy. Other than those two, I didn't really care about the rest of them. And I think maybe a little bit more time with them or something would have helped.
Craig, I actually had trouble with. That was one of the. I mean, I can usually, disassociate other roles from people, but Battlestar Galactica ruined Callum Keith Rennie for me. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
I haven't seen Battlestar Galactica.
What?
Yeah, I've seen the original.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen the original yet, but he's in the new one, and yeah.
Apparently he's a Cylon.
Yeah, and a really.
Wait, aren't they all Cylons? Isn't that the whole point of Battlestar Galactica?
No.
No, sorry.
Close. We're getting there.
So yeah, I found the pacing was perfect, but for that many characters, you lost a little something. And I also found it very strange that He said it was 2 months since they knew it was the end of the world.
Yeah.
At precisely the second they knew.
It's the end of the world now. That was alarming.
They precisely knew exactly the second. They had 2 months to prepare, and nobody did anything exciting till the last night.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, the
Well,
one
clearly they've
guy
been
crossing
organizing
off
it.
No.
his list,
Yeah, Craig.
the last day, the radio DJ, all those things would have blown up way before the last 8 hours of the day. It just,
I don't know. I found it
everyone
sort of
was
very.
so calm in this movie.
I found that very Canadian.
In a lot of ways. I mean, it's like, okay, so the world's ending in 2 months. Well,
It's just,
there's nowhere to go.
they felt
What are you
really
gonna do?
What are you
numb,
gonna do?
and you think you'd get over the numbness within the first month. Like the whole concept
Well-
of her driving across town down the freeway to get a bottle of wine for her husband instead of walking down to the closest convenience store.
Assuming that the closest convenience store already hadn't been stripped of everything.
And
Yeah.
considering you hadn't stocked up a month before because you knew it was going to be the
Well,
end of the
there's
world
that.
and everyone's going to loot.
I probably would have prepared a little sooner.
Yeah, they all seemed very unprepared except for the guy who was having sex with everyone, who was very prepared.
Yeah.
Although, you mentioned the little things like family guilt trips and things that you still look forward to. If you notice, every time he gives someone a drink or he uses a drink, he still uses a coaster. The world will end in like 4 hours and he's still making sure his coffee table's fine.
Well,
that is
why not?
very Canadian.
And he wanted to keep all his cars too.
Yes. Well, that's
If you have
something-
3 cars, it's a collection. If you have 2, you're just a guy with 2 old cars.
Yeah. That's something I like though. That's something that would really happen. People go into habits that they don't
Yeah.
think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Although, mind you, if I found out 2 months ago that the world was going to end, what can you do?
Stop using coasters, go wild.
Yeah.
I'd quit my job.
I'd assume they would have done
Assuming I
that.
had a job to quit. But I would quit my job.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
exactly.
I'd go travel.
Okay, yes.
I was thinking about that. It's like, where would I want to be on the
Not
last night?
Toronto.
Not Toronto, apparently. Although, if Sarah Polley was there, I would like to meet her before the world ended. Be like, hey, big fan. Boom. But,
God.
well, it's true.
It's actually kind of sad. She was one of the only 2 people I recognized from the movie.
Really?
Yeah, there was her and the one who was in Road Chat on Lee.
She was the one who was in Road to Abilene.
Oh, wrong one. I'm thinking the little redhead, the sister of
The
Patrick.
sister.
Yeah.
No, the crazy woman walking around, running around.
Oh, the runner?
It's the end of the world. Yeah. Wasn't she in Road Chat on Lee
15
or?
minutes.
I totally don't remember her. I always associate Sarah Polley with Road to Abilene.
Yeah, I think they were both in.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's been a while since I've watched it.
That crazy runner lady made me smile.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
Because that would be something I would want to do. Just go around yelling, I was right! One thing I liked was the music.
Yeah.
Except for a few times when they used score,
Ridiculous.
almost all of it was ambient music, which was kind of cool.
Nice.
It makes me think of old British disaster movies where they only have radio telling you what's going on, not some narrator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, I had issues with the synth.
No,
I always have issues with the synth.
I have to say, though, I did agree with Patrick when he was arguing with Craig that, you know, he didn't want to risk having bad sex be his last memory. I was like, that's a very good point. I wouldn't either.
Yeah, that was perfectly awkward, that scene.
yeah.
It was awesome.
It was pretty awesome.
It was
wonderfully
nice, awkward, without being judgmental in the least. Which
Yeah.
was really, really
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fine line.
good. Yeah.
I really loved the family scene right at the beginning with the Christmas dinner that wasn't at Christmas.
That was my favorite scene of the movie.
Because it was just so much like an actual
Yeah.
family at Christmas.
And I thought about it. That's the way I would want to go the last day of dinner. Just redo Christmas dinner.
Redo Christmas?
Yeah.
I'd like that lamb.
I killed a man on set.
That giant lamb.
I killed a man for your present.
What was that line? We have a moral policy in this family where we don't kill people.
Where we don't kill people. Tradition. We have a
Mm.
tradition in our family where we don't go around killing people.
That was that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really liked the grandmother and Rose towards the end when they were watching the family movies. And they were like, the children don't know what they're missing. Screw the children.
I put 80 years into this life. The children, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the grandma's just like, good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I hadn't thought about that either.
Well, I do.
I also like the other comment that said, "Whoever expected to watch all these?"
Yeah.
To be fair, I do that a lot. I watch old school movies a lot.
Yes.
Or who is that? Does it matter?
If we don't remember, who cares?
Yeah. One of the things I really liked is how all of the characters that you meet are connected.
Yeah.
Like all of them. It was kind of neat.
Yeah, and that, I don't know, I feel like that's a common thread of Canadian movies. Like, I don't know, it made me think of the last one that I saw that had Sandra Oh and Callum Keith-Rennie in it, which was this movie, Will Be Wonderful. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but it's called Will Be Wonderful because it's set in this small town of Wilby, and somebody important is coming to visit the town or something, and so they hire this sign painter, played by Callum Keith-Rennie, to paint a sign saying "Wonderful Wilby." Turns out sign painter is dyslexic and it says "Will Be Wonderful." Anyways, but it was kind of the same thing where you have all these different storylines, but they're all connected, and I like that. It makes me happy.
Mm. I like the connections weren't always obvious. Like the guy who was calling the gas.
Poor gas
The
company
poor
man.
gas company guy was Sandra's husband.
He's the one I have a little sad face beside where it says "Poor gas company man," because what an awful thing to be doing on the last day of the world.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. He brought that on himself, I think. Because nobody would force you to do that. I think his bosses were gone.
Everybody was gone.
Volunteered. And no one even answered the phone.
No, nobody
You wouldn't
cares.
expect to, yeah.
And he
But
lied
still, it's
to
nice
everyone.
Hey, no, he didn't.
No.
He said they would try to keep it up until the end.
And they did try.
They did try.
But what's her face ran off to, you know, die not a virgin. Sorry.
And it did keep up going until almost the end. I mean, the fire didn't go out until the 11 o'clock, sometime in the
That's
11
true.
o'clock hour, so.
Yeah, that's true. To the last hour. No,
I thought that was pretty damn good.
I was
Go
amazed.
gas company.
I was amazed that gas and electricity lasted that long. One thing that I found interesting, and it's a common thread through all the newer disaster movies or end of the world movies, cell phones died right off the bat.
Yeah.
Always, that almost
Although
always
to be fair, I
happens.
think that's also a 1998 thing.
That's true. But it's something that I've noticed a lot of people have been doing, even in novels. They get rid of the cell phones as quickly as possible because they're a hindrance.
Is that entirely
They make life too
plausible
convenient.
though, scientifically?
No,
speaking,
absolutely
if the sun's
not.
flaring like it is.
But given everything else that they had, I think
Yeah,
was the
it would have
point.
affected
All the other
the
technology that was
electricity.
still available.
It would have affected radio, television, electricity.
Okay, yeah, that makes, okay, yes.
But which is why I think it was more a 1998 thing.
Yeah.
That the one guy who had a cell phone, his
his car
stopped
phone.
working. His car phone. It's like really.
Yeah.
It was 1998. Frankly, I had a bit of a reality check when they started talking about the internet. I'm like, oh right, I guess that did exist.
Yeah.
Then we saw
Yeah,
web
sort
pages.
of. Yeah. Oh my god.
Right?
Oh,
First
disgusting.
web page.
Goes with the neon magenta.
Made on GeoCities
teal.
with flashing.
Yeah.
Remember the excitement when you first figured out how when you made the mouse move you could have like a little trail behind the cursor? That was awesome. That took me back.
I like how the internet hasn't changed much because there's the line of
Check the internet for girls.
check the internet for girls. Think that's what the internet is for. And then immediately in my head I have Avenue Q going, the internet is for porn. The internet is for porn. And I'm like, yeah, no, nothing's changed.
No.
That's very familiar.
One thing that I really liked about the movie, it ended. Sorry,
No,
it
no,
ended with its
I know
own
what you mean.
promise.
Oh.
So many
They weren't
end of the world
saved.
movies
They weren't saved,
saved
okay.
themselves at the last second.
I was gonna say
they
that
were
too.
wrong, or they're transported by aliens or something.
But nope, everybody
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
died.
I was half expecting them to be like, oh, whoops, we're wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But when he said 12, I was like, if you say an exact time, you better do it.
Yeah.
This isn't just in films, guys, it's in general life. If you make an appointment, keep it.
Oh man, I'm always early.
Unless you're
Can you
morality
imagine if
lesson
the end of the
of the day.
world was like 10 minutes early? How disappointed everyone would have been.
You would be 10 minutes prepared. You'd be like, yep, knew it. I was on schedule.
And he gloats in the afterlife forevermore.
Oh god.
Can you imagine that? Terrible.
I didn't much as a character. This is nothing on the actor. I didn't much like Craig as a character. And his
That's the sex guy?
his obsession with sex. I'm like, oh, dude, really? Though he did come up with a few pearls of wisdom, like live while you can, which yes, I agree with.
Yeah.
But
I can kind of understand. He picked something that he really wanted to do and he stuck to it.
You do have to admire that.
yeah, well, yes.
It wouldn't
in
be
my
how I
mind.
would choose to spend the last 2 months, but you know.
But in my mind, it could be like, I want to read every single science fiction book written from 75 to 85.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
In 2 months.
yeah.
Jeez, you're.
You know, you pick something and you go for it. You do it.
It's not
So
time
many
to
of the
hold
other
back.
characters had no goals. I mean, Patrick did. He was going to listen to music while the world ended.
Yeah.
And I
Listen
guess
to music and drink champagne. I think that's what I would do.
I like that.
I'd want to be with my family
Yeah.
at the lake.
At the lake. Yeah, that would be nice.
Sit on the end of the dock. with a drink.
Or like what those people were doing, go out in the canoes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like the bit about, I don't remember his name, the guitarist teaching everyone.
Oh
yeah,
from
Randy
Buckman.
Bachman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
Taking care of business. Yeah,
And
that would have been a cool way to go out, I think.
And just, totally coincidentally, I thought it was very touching that they were listening to Pete Seeger, given that Pete Seeger just died.
Oh yes, as soon as Pete Seeger's name was mentioned, I went.
So I thought that was nice.
Yes, that was very apropos.
Good time.
Accidentally.
Yes. Accidentally quite fitting.
Yeah, accidentally very fitting. I have a question about the morality issue that Patrick's dad brought up.
That's what I say in morality.
Okay, well now we know what you mean.
Yeah.
Because the world is ending doesn't give you an excuse to act like a complete barbarian.
No.
I agree.
Yeah, I do too. I think if anything, the end of the world should give you, more
perspective.
and make you more accepting of, and bring out the humanity in you rather than.
I would feel terribly guilty for killing someone, and that's the last way I want to spend the last 2 months.
That would be even worse than bad sex.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dying
Bad
of murder.
Bad murder. As opposed to good murder.
Well, to be a real good serial killer, you need time.
I guess.
I don't know.
I am plotting things, you people. Plotting.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and the guy who finally got his piano recital.
Oh my god, that almost made me cry.
That broke my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finally got my recital, and I was like, oh.
I was half expecting when they would pan over, there would be no one in the audience.
That was my reaction. I turned to her, I'm like, is it weird that there are actually more people here than I thought?
There would be. Yeah.
I assume it's his family.
Well,
and his teacher.
And
his teacher was
Mrs.
wandered
Carlton.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was having a good end of the world.
Well, I guess. Any last thoughts about the film that you can think of?
Go see it. Find it. Watch it. It's fun. I liked it.
It's worth a watch, but I probably won't rewatch it.
Yeah, it's worth the watch, but I won't be adding it to my DVD collection.
Yeah.
It's,
I might actually.
yeah?
I really liked it.
Yeah. Well, I liked it. It's just not something I would watch again.
I know how it ends.
Oh, I did want to
That
say
doesn't
something
usually stop me from rewatching things.
about the ending. Sandra Oh's acting at that last little bit was amazing. I just wanted to say that was really, really, really.
Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say too, was going back to your comment about how she just seemed like herself. I almost got the feeling that she was supposed to be herself.
Oh yeah?
Her name was Sandra, and Menzies had that comment about, hey, your friend looks like a movie star.
Oh, that's true.
I was like, maybe she's actually supposed to be
Sandra Oh.
Sandra Oh. Just a thought.
Oh, maybe. Or maybe they just put that in there for Canadian fans who knew who she was and then would get a really good giggle out of
Could
she
be.
looks like a movie star.
Could be.
And that her name was Sandy.
Like in Ocean's 13, where Julia Roberts was playing a character who looked a lot like Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
That was the most absurd thing. But you know,
I didn't watch that.
yeah.
Well then.
But yeah.
Yeah, the first one was good. So, out of 5 stars.
2.5.
Ooh.
Wow.
Why only 2.5 if you enjoyed it?
I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it enough to own it or to rewatch it, and I don't think it had anything unique to it. It's an end-of-the-world movie made in Canada. That's about it.
I would give it 4.
Okay, I'm pretty much in the middle. I gave it 3.5. Mostly because it's not something I would add to my DVD collection, but it was fun and funny, and it had some really special moments, and the acting was pretty good. So I do recommend you watch it.
Yes.
And I have a soft spot in my heart for Canadian movies.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's everything. Oh wait, no, it's not. Who wants to pick the new movie?
Me! Better be something good in here. Aw, yeah. Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh yes, Pan's Labyrinth. That's the Spanish film from 2006. So if you like this discussion, please like and subscribe down below underneath the table here. And I wanted to say the doobly-doo, but that's been taken. Nerd Criteria. Well, never mind. It's a YouTube thing. And next week we will be discussing The Diamond Throne by David Eddings. We'll see you then.
Ready to finish it.
Yeah.